So with the adventures well and truly up and running, Sea of Thieves has a massive cast of characters to draw from, both in the game and the extended universe. Rare has done a really good job of expanding the cast to make it feel much more of an ensemble this past year. As much as I love the Flameheart storyline and it's clearly the most interesting, they will inevitably be taking a break again as of Adventure 9's conclusion. It looks like there's a pattern where they'll have to take a break to adapt to the community choices and then make the next act of the war for the Sea of Thieves. In the last year, we've had the Dark Brethren reintroduced to the fold, which included Wanda, Duke and the Gold Hoarder. Well, sort of. Merrick was called back into action after being retired from 2018 until now also. Jim was returned to us just this month in Herald of the Flame, and DeMarco was sort of made use of, but he was just killed. Spoilers for the mystery, but the Siren Queen was also brought back in a bizarre twist and Lesedi is back in action now too. It's safe to say that Rare has accounted for the majority of the cast, at least the main players. I straight up don't want to hear from Greymarrow ever again though, keep his bony arse in the Sea of the Damned. We fought him in the Tall Tales, then at Fort of the Damned, and then during the Fate of the Damned update in 2020. If he comes back on the 3rd of November, I'll shit in my hands and clap. But in all seriousness, there's a big character that has been swept under the rug, and that's Captain Briggsy. Some of you will have no idea who that is, but I would argue she's one of the most significant characters in the whole game. If you haven't played the first set of Tall Tales or read Athena's Fortune, then you're missing out. Briggsy was one of the first pirates on the Sea of Thieves shortly after the Pirate Lord rediscovered it. She was originally the captain of a sloop called the Homeward Dove, the small wreck found at Tribute Peak. The Pirate Lord holds a council in the Athena's Fortune book over at Golden Sands Outpost, where she attends. Briggsy, a master thief and lockpicker, attempts to pick the lock of one of the Pirate Lord's chests and fails. This is due to the cursed lock which will only open with the skeleton keys. Shortly after this meeting, a newly awakened Kraken attacks the outpost and Briggsy assists in the defense of it. Her story picks up again in the Tall Tales, where we discover she's the second person to successfully use the Shroud Breaker, which resulted in her being tricked by the Gold Hoarder and becoming a Skeleton Lord. In the second Tall Tale, we go toe to toe with her and end up killing her, handing her skull into the Order of Souls. And yet, we just never see her again. It seems like the Order of Souls aren't too great at keeping these remains secured, as the Gold Hoarder returns a couple of years after we sell his skull to the Order too. Briggsy should share the same fate, but as she's a Skeleton Lord, she needs to be redeemed still. Us caving her head in doesn't count. The Shores of Gold is really well intertwined with her story, and it's thanks to her we actually get there. As the second most tragic character in the series, I strongly believe that she should come back and work with the Pirate Lord after she's cured, of course. It would also be an awesome time to release her jacket for players. An underrated character that certainly needs to be brought back into the fold. The next group of characters haven't been added to the game yet, but with DeMarco's soul in the Sea of the Damned and Lesedi soon journeying in there to retrieve the soul of her brother, she's gonna need some help. In the first set of Sea of Thieves comics, we get to meet DeMarco and Lesedi's crews as a fight breaks out in their father's tavern, the Unfired Pistol. And what an awesome cast of characters they are. We have on DeMarco's crew AShinyRay, or Sharpshooter Rin. She's an expert with the Eye of Reach and joins DeMarco's crew as a mercenary, with promises of the Sea of Thieves' infinite riches. Philip Martin is a green as grass crew member who is basically recruited by DeMarco as a way to get the crew back up to full strength. Melly Silvertongue was originally part of Lesedi's crew but was dropped for being too heavy-handed and almost prevented Lesedi from reaching the Sea of Thieves, so she joins DeMarco instead. Melly was also captured by Warden Chi during the events of Ashen Winds, but she escaped with Lorina's former captain. And on the other side, we have Lesedi's crew. The first one is Osgar Seamark, an absolute legend and has the second coolest jacket on the Sea of Thieves. He hails from the British Isles and is a former soldier, but it's unclear which war he's fought in. And fun fact, a render of him actually exists on the Sea of Thieves website. Navid the Healer, a doctor who was recruited after making good friends with Osgar Seamark, and just happened to be at the Unfired Pistol before both crews set off for the Sea of Thieves. Lastly, we have Alicia St. Marina. She used to be a duo with Melly, where they would work as a team to rob unsuspecting people and pirates alike, but was split up with her following the fight that broke out in the Unfired Pistol. Lots of you will actually recognise these names but have never read the comics. These are some of the replaced gamertag names you'll see in game, that's where you recognise them from. I think we have a very high chance of seeing some of these people, considering the ending of the mystery, along with Oscar already having a render, and Melly being mentioned in the Sea of Thieves RPG. Finally, I've saved the best to last. The man I really want to come back, and I know you guys will agree. The man, the myth, the legend, the cursed captain. And the best part is, when Mike was on our last podcast episode, he confirmed he is indeed coming back, and we all love it. When he told us, I was grinning from ear to ear. He was easily the best part of the Pirate's Life Tall Tales, and just elevated the Sailor's Grave part of the first Tall Tale to God tier. It doesn't necessarily have to be another Disney crossover either. As far as I know, he was created by Rare as a means to call back to the Talking Skull on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. This actually shows up before we head into the Tavern of the Damned, in the Captains of the Damned Tall Tale. The jokes he cracks are amazing, the backstory written in the journals is incredibly interesting, and people theorise that he's all sorts of legacy characters, including the Captain, makes him such a great character. The whole of Sailor's Grave is the cursed Captain's doing too. We know just some of his backstory, but it's still filled with mystery. So let's have him back and delve more into that. Oh, and can we have his jacket as well? We need something to match his swell hat and sails. I really like jackets, huh? Anyways, that completes my list. Thanks for watching. Who do you want to see come back in future adventures and seasons, or even maybe Tall Tales? Let me know down in the comments. The Discord link is in there too, where Obsidian 6-pack giveaways are being held. Thanks again for watching, and as always, fulfill the prophecy.